Hi, I'm Karen Kilgore, and I specialize in web and graphic design and book publishing. And today I have Simon Zerd with me. He is Denver business coach, and I wanted to do an interview with him and introduce you to him. He is specializing in small businesses, and I think now during this COVID season where we're all working at home, I thought that he would be a really good resource for you. So, hi Simon, how are you today?
I'm good, Karen. Thank you. How are you?
Very good, doing great. I wanted to ask you first, what is the biggest impact that you're seeing on this stay-at-home order in small businesses that you're working with?
Well, I think it depends a little bit on the industry, of course. Like there's certain businesses that have been very minimally affected by that. We have a lot of IT companies that are actually busier than ever before. We have some clients in the accounting industry that are also have been really busy, will be really busy. So their impact has really been primarily on how do I get set up for remote work? How do I set up compliance with all the health regulations and making sure everyone is safe at work? But then we do have a lot of businesses where the main conversation really is about the immediate impact of either their business is directly shut down or they're indirectly affected because their clients' businesses are shut down. And so the main conversation over the last couple of weeks for sure has been trying to figure out cash flow, trying to figure out what is the next couple of months going to look like and how are we going to get through this.
And that's individual to each business, I'm assuming, right? There's no standard protocol.
No, I mean, there's businesses that are similarly affected, like restaurants or personal services industries that just have to close down and either have no source of revenue or very limited sources of revenue. So that is similar now, where each business is positioned as it relates to how are they going to get through it. That's very unique. You know, there's businesses that have a big cash reserve. There's businesses that have higher profit margins than other, that were able to negotiate better vendor relationships or all of that. So I think the conversations are similar. The implications for each business and how they're able to navigate it, that's definitely highly unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are some of the specific services you could offer to a small business in that one of those positions?
Well, I think the immediate need that at this point, I think most businesses have navigated. If they haven't, then that's definitely something we could focus on, is creating a cash flow projections for like the next 3 months, and then securing whatever funding is available, whether it is through the CARES Act, through their bank, through a business lines of credit. So that's an area that we're consulting in and trying to help see what is in the best interest of the business, midterm and long term. And then I think there are certain businesses that really have the ability to pivot actually pretty quickly, maybe change their business model somewhat and be able to generate some new streams of revenue or expand on existing ones that maybe weren't as developed, but now they can really put some horsepower behind it. And so that's a lot of the work that we're doing right now with our clients, is how can we amplify and really focus on wherever there is the ability for revenue to come in.
Mm-hmm. Those are good. Those are great tactics. So if anybody is, kind of struggling, I recommend you call Simon. He can really point you in the right direction, give you some good tools to use. I know a lot of business owners don't have anybody to talk to, so want to highly recommend Simon. He's amazing. So what's the biggest thing that's happened for you this month personally in your business and working from home? Yeah.
I think for sure, obviously the impact of this entire situation, which is multifaceted in many ways. So that's definitely been the biggest thing. I think one thing that's been actually very good for us to see is the clients that we have worked with for a period of time really are much better positioned to go into this period of time than a lot of the other business owners that we see out there, because we've been really focused on fundamentals. Like we always work with our businesses, our end goal is to create a business that the owner loves to be working in and that is sellable, which usually means that there's a lot of fundamentals that are in place, like good cash flow, good procedures, good recurring revenue models. And so those businesses that have that in place are exponentially better positioned. And so there's been like a certain validation of the work that we've been doing. And then also, I think experiencing the relationships that we've have built over the last decade with business owners, really an appreciation for that second opinion, for that being able to strategize. Mm-hmm. So we've been in a lot of conversations, even with business owners that weren't clients of ours, but that we've been in touch with over the last decade or so.
So one of your specialties is positioning a company to be able to resell at some point. Talk about that for just a minute.
I think that's a big conversation, but
yeah, right.
but at the end of the day, as a business owner, you're going to exit your business one way or another at some point, and for the most part, ideally, most business owners want to exit their business and they want to sell it. They've put a lot of labor into it, a lot of love, sweat, tears, money. And, they get to that point where they think, okay, at some point I'm going to be able to sell it. And the reality, even before this crisis, is that most businesses are not sellable. They're just not attractive for a potential acquirer to come in and actually buy the business. And so for a lot of clients that we work with that have that explicit goal, because the sale of their business is a part of their retirement planning, we're saying, for most business owners, they're having extra money on the side, they're putting that back into the business rather than pulling it out. So it is something that's really important for the retirement planning. But if it's not, you don't have that money until you're actually able to sell the business. And that's when most business owners are, unfortunately, waking up to the reality that my business is not sellable in the first place, or is not worth what I was thinking it was going to be worth. So we're trying to get in ahead of time, ideally like 3 to 5 years before, to really help them understand what makes a business sellable and valuable, and put those strategies in place ahead of time.
Great. That's awesome. That's really good. Is there any word of advice you want to leave? Give a business owner right now?
Yeah, I think the word of advice right now is a couple things. Slow down. I think there is a massive amount of news out there that is very broad news, like this is what's going to happen to the stock market, this is what's going to happen to the economy. And the reality is that might be on a macro level true, but what's really true for your particular business and your particular circumstance can be completely different. So I think for every business owner to not just get caught up in the general conversation, but to take a step back and really do like even a simple SWOT analysis. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? But not just go through it, for the sake of going through the exercise, but really spend time with it and ask those questions, take them deeper and deeper. You will see that there is opportunities to innovate your business and to pivot your business that I think is going to be critical. And for business owners that are not going to do that during this period of time, there is no going back to just how things were before. And if that's their strategy, they're going to be left behind. They're just not going to be able to re-enter the market and be able to succeed down the road. So slow down, really look at your specific information in your specific situation, do an analysis, come up with a plan. And I think lastly, you have to put yourself in the shoes of what your customers are going to be once recovery starts. The conversations are going to be different. Their needs are going to be different. Their perceived risks of engaging with you are going to be different. So that's, why it's kind of like a little hard to anticipate that. That's really going to be the work of a CEO, is to, as best possible, anticipate what is your customer going to need. when things pick up again? And how are you messaging and innovate your business to serve those needs?
So it sounds like you are a huge, valuable resource for a lot of small businesses. And thank you for that. So I'll put your contact information at the bottom so people can get hold of you. And is there any kind of calendar system, or what's the easiest way to reach you?
The easiest way is really just to visit our website, www.denverbusinesscoach.com. And we have like several forms where people can submit, and then we'll be in touch with you and schedule.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great, Simon. Thank you so much for all you're doing. And we'll send people your way and let you help them navigate this. It's an opportunity. It's also, it's a little scary, but we have an awesome opportunity. So I know that you can help people tremendously. So thank you so much.
Karen, thank you so much.